In today's world where RPG games are getting more and more popular and they are actually mediums for games to be able to provide enjoyable experiences for the gamers and also advance and continue to upsell the customers, I think it makes a lot more sense now where I think this new Batman game, which I will call Project Redacted because that's the official name that we have. For those of you who may not know, the Arkham game that is being teased right now by Warner Brothers Montreal is on a web page under their website that's actually called Redacted. So first, I want to quickly try to, show in my own little opinion how I think that this game is going to be a true or a deeper RPG game or a Batman game with a deeper RPG system. Now, one of the reasons I say this is because already, if you even look at this file itself, this is a picture that I just, saved from the page. The page does have a PNG that you can save and maybe, try to fit different, maybe do whatever you want to do with. I think it's their image nonetheless. It's a copyrighted image, by the way. So please note that. And one of the really interesting things about, this image is the file name is actually dial.png. And which means that this image will most likely be able to rotate and reveal a lot more things. So what if this image is actually a multi-dimensional ball that not only has 6 factions, but has more factions that will be unveiled as you're going on in terms of playing this game, and they can eventually continue to add more factions as you're going deeper and deeper into this Batman game. So it's not just a linear story. It's actually a story that webs out and continues to span out if they decide to continue to do so and advance the game. So maybe an open world game that has multiple factions who have multiple missions, strongholds, strangeholds, and different things that you can use to weaken them or take them down. But there'll probably still be elements of them around the open world. Now, this seems far-fetched until you look at a game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where when you eventually get to a specific point in the game, you find out that there's actually like a bigger mystery in terms of bad guys and bosses that you have to take on. These bosses come in the packaging as a cult, and so you have all these members that are, secret members that you have to find out who they are and eventually start taking them out to finally get to the head, the leader, depending on what path you're taking of this cult or whatever it is. Now, I haven't beaten Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I remember on one of my other channels we were playing the game, and one of my buddies was actually doing the gameplay, and he finally got here and was explaining the system to me. I thought it was very interesting to actually see. Now, I definitely think that this is the direction that this game is going to take, and this to me even makes more sense why they canceled that Damian Wayne game, because I think, and this is just my own theory, that perhaps that Damian Wayne game was a straightforward linear story just like we've had in the other Arkham games. And I feel like they started to see the trend of a lot of these RPG games. Now, you also have to wonder, where else can you find such a system as this in any Warner Brothers game? It's simple. You just look at Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, where the Nemesis system is already in use, which may even lend to some of the early leaks that we got a while ago that said that, this said new Batman game might be leveraging the Nemesis system to work and create replayability and create a more immersive world for this game to be expanded much more. And so I've seen a lot of people talk about how, there are 6 families that are going against Batman. And I'm like, maybe 6 major families or 6 families going to be revealed immediately the game comes out, and you have to start unlocking the other families, and they can continue to maybe sell DLCs of other factions. I call them families, but other factions that continue to remain in Gotham, and you continue to explore them. So this dial to me feels like a 3-dimensional object versus maybe like the 2D system that we had in the Batman Arkham Knight game, where you can select all your different bosses from that dial in the when you hit the menu to figure out what missions you want to go to. That is like a 2D thing, whereas this might be, I don't know, a 3D aspect. Now, even if it's not a 3D aspect, it still feels like something that you would be diving into the world of these factions. So not only are you going to be looking for specific bosses, but now you're dealing with factions. And I think they probably want to make this game something bigger than just your 20-hour, gameplay experience. And they want this to be like the games that people spend not only 20 hours in, but you know how these RPG games can be. A game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a lot of people have spent 60, 70, 80 hours in the game, and they're just feeling like, man, we just got started. Now, I don't know if they want to make Batman as bloated as that, but I think it will most likely make sense, especially seeing the fact that players have waited all these years to get their hands on a Batman game. And if we blow through that Batman game in 20 hours, well, then the very first thing people are going to be asking for is DLC. So I feel like a reactive and a responsive world is also something that will be coming into a game like this. A responsive world where different factions control different areas and they're like strongholds. Warner Bros. Montreal is not new to a concept like this. In the open world of Arkham Origins, there are these missions that crop up that say, oh, we need an emergency here. There's a crime in progress. It's a crime in progress, mechanic. And this crime in progress mechanic seems to lend to a world that is maybe randomly, popping up these missions as you get there. And another game that's actually doing that, or games that do that, are games like GTA. I mean, remember somebody said this is going to be like an open world like GTA, and people said, oh, this is likely fake. But I think this is something that is lending towards that kind of game where, the world is still living and breathing. There are dangers everywhere for you that can take you out. How this is, going to play, players may feel like, wow, this is not your regular go gather all the Joker, all the Riddler trophies. This will have a lot of depth and have a lot of layers in terms of how the game and the gameplay works. So, ladies and gentlemen, this dial that they're showing us, I think, is much bigger than the regular reveal everybody is looking at. Everybody is looking at this from a very surface level, but I'm really excited about what we're seeing right now. And somebody on the channel actually commented and said that they said they agreed. They even affirmed what I thought and said the very moment they saw this, they could not help but think about other RPG games as well. And they thought that this was going to be one of those kinds of, RPG games. So the reveals are probably going to be developing as we're going on, and I'm excited to see what the developers actually have in store. This is going to be an exciting game. I think this is going to be an ambitious open world game where you can engage with the world much deeper than you had in any other Arkham game. So we'll see what happens. And these are just my thoughts for now. I'll be happy to share a lot more as we start to see some progress in other videos. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and help the channel out. It will be very nice to do so. Trying to get to 1,000 subs, and your participation will really help. So thank you once again for your time and audience. I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.